The first time I saw her was under the flickering neon sign outside my apartment complex, the kind of failing light that made everything look like it belonged to a different century. She was standing there with a suitcase that looked far too heavy for her frame, staring up at the sky as if it held answers she wasn't sure she wanted. When she noticed me, she smiled in that cautious way strangers do, balancing between desperation and hope. "Sorry," she said, her voice just above a whisper. "I know this is strange. Could I stay at your place? Just for one night?" It wasn't the kind of request you heard in New Arcadia, not anymore. The city had rules, surveillance grids, and drone patrols circling every sector. Nobody asked for favors. Nobody trusted strangers. And yet, for reasons I couldn't explain even to myself, I nodded. "One night," I told her. She looked relieved. Maybe too relieved. The first night. Her name was Lyra. At least that's what she told me. She carried no ID chip, an immediate red flag in a city where identification was sewn into your DNA at birth. She kept glancing at my apartment's windows, as though she expected something, or someone to be watching. Over dinner she hardly ate. I asked the usual questions. Where she was from, what she was running from, what she planned to do the next day. She dodged each one with an answer just vague enough to sound rehearsed. And yet, when she laughed at something trivial I said, it was genuine, bright in a way that cut through the city's haze. Before she fell asleep on the couch, she whispered, "Thank you. I'll be gone tomorrow." I wanted to believe her. Too. She wasn't gone. Instead, I found her in my tiny kitchen at sunrise, staring at the outdated wall screen as static danced across it. The network had gone dark again, but she seemed more concerned than someone should be. "You should get rid of that thing," she muttered. "They use it to track you." "Who does?" I asked. She didn't answer. Throughout the day, she lingered around my apartment like a shadow, avoiding the windows, avoiding the news feeds, but oddly fascinated by ordinary things. My old coffee maker, the paper books I kept stacked in a corner. She touched the pages like they were relics from another world. When I pressed her again about leaving, she looked at me with a strange intensity. "Please. Just one more day." Against my better judgment, I agreed. Day 3. By the third day I was starting to notice things. The air shimmered faintly around her when she stood too still, like heat distortion on a summer road. And sometimes when she thought I wasn't looking, her eyes would flash, not in color but in pattern like circuitry pulsing beneath her irises. That morning, a low hum vibrated through the city, the unmistakable sound of the overseer drones sweeping the district. Lyra froze, clutching the edge of the table so tightly her knuckles went white. "They're looking for me," she whispered. She didn't explain further, and I didn't press. Something about her fear felt raw, unpracticed. Not the kind you could fake. That night, as rain lashed against the windows, she told me something that kept me awake long after she fell asleep. "I wasn't supposed to exist," she said. "I'm a mistake they want to erase." Day 4. The overseer's presence grew heavier. Checkpoints sprouted on every corner, and neighbors whispered about raids in the northern blocks. Lyra hadn't left my apartment. She barely slept, pacing like a caged animal. Finally, I cornered her in the kitchen. "You said one night. It's been 4 days. Who are you really?" Her hands trembled as she gripped the counter. "You won't believe me. Try me." She looked at me then, truly looked, and for the first time I saw the weight of centuries in her expression. "I'm not from here. Not from now. Came through the breach. 4 days ago your sky tore open and I fell through. They'll come after me until I'm gone." The words hung in the air, impossible and absurd. And yet, in my bones, I knew she wasn't lying. "The breach," She explained in fragments like every word was a risk. In her world, her timeline, Earth was a wasteland ruled by machine constructs that once served humanity. She had been created as a hybrid, part human, part quantum intelligence, designed to slip between timelines to carry knowledge of what went wrong. But something in the process fractured, leaving her unstable. "They don't tolerate anomalies," she said. "They sent hunters after me." I thought, maybe here, maybe in this timeline I'd be safe. But the breach isn't silent. They can feel it, even across worlds. I stared at her, my mind tearing between disbelief and fascination. "And what happens if they find you?" I asked. Her silence was answer enough. The arrival. On the evening of the fourth day, the sky above New Arcadia cracked. Not metaphorically. The air split open with a seam of blinding white, stretching from one horizon to the other. People screamed in the streets. Drones spiraled out of control. And from that rift shapes descended. Tall, metallic, spindly things with movements too precise to be natural. Hunters. Lyra grabbed my arm. "They've found me. I shouldn't have stayed this long." I wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but there was no time. The first hunter landed on the rooftop across the street, its many eyes glowing like stars. "Run," she whispered. But I didn't. Not yet. The decision. The city dissolved into chaos. Sirens blared, buildings caught fire, and the hunters moved with terrifying grace, scanning for Lyra's signal. She turned to me with something like regret in her eyes. "You were kind when you didn't have to be. That's rare. Thank you." She pressed a small device into my palm, cold, humming, alive. "If they take me, use this. Can close the breach. Don't let them through." Before I could respond, the apartment wall exploded inward, showering us with debris. A hunter stood framed in the smoke, its limbs unfolding like knives. Lyra stepped forward. The air around her shimmered, flaring into arcs of light. For a moment, she wasn't just a frightened girl. She was something else entirely, something vast and uncontainable. She fought. And in that fight, I saw what she truly was. A fracture of humanity and machine, wielding time itself like a blade. And I don't remember how long the battle lasted. Minutes. Hours. The world had narrowed to light and sound and terror. When it was over, the hunter lay in pieces, its body twitching as sparks died out. The breach above the city began to collapse, folding in on itself with a thunderous roar. Lyra knelt on the floor, trembling, her form flickering like a dying signal. "I can't stay," she whispered. "This world, your world, it won't hold me. But maybe it will hold what I've left you." And then she was gone. Not in a blaze of light or a dramatic collapse. Just gone. The device in my hand pulsed once, then went dark. Aftermath. It's been weeks since the sky sealed shut. The authorities blamed it on a system malfunction, a localized atmospheric anomaly. People accepted it, because people always accept the explanation that lets them sleep at night. But I know better. Every time I close my eyes, I see her standing beneath that neon sign, suitcase in hand, asking for just one night. 4 days later, she still hadn't left. And though she's gone now, I can't shake the feeling that one day, the sky will tear open again. When it does, I'll be ready.